Hello everyone, I am Murali. I thank you for spending some of your time to visit my channel. Let's begin with the video, the FedNow service. So what is the FedNow service? This is a new instant payment system that is launched in United States of America. Ideally, the Federal Reserve has created an infrastructure which caters to the need of transferring money quickly within a maximum 20 seconds. Meaning, for example, let us consider that you want to send $500 to your friend and you hold an account in bank A and your friend holds an account in bank B. Assume that you approach your bank for initiating a request and your bank validates it and initiates the request to the bank where your friend holds account, and the bank B where your friend holds account validate the request and confirms back to your bank. So after that, when your bank receives that confirmation from bank B, it is confirmed that bank B is made the fund available to your friend. So your friend immediately use that fund. So all of these actions will happen within 20 seconds. The next point is the Federal Reserve wants to make this system to available to the users all the time. So that it is built to run 24 hours and 365 days. So practically you can transfer money at any time you want. The funds are made available to the beneficiary, or in our example it is to your friend, it in a real time settlement method. So real time with settlement follows a gross settlement method. So which means that transactions are settled individually between the banks. For example, you are sending 500 USD to your friend, and in at the same time if your friend wants to send back 200 USD, so each transactions will be settled individually. So that is what the gross settlements will do. And since it is a gross settlement and it is an immediate one, the payments whatever is settled, that will not be revocable. So once you send it, it is always remember that it is irrevocable. You cannot claim it back. So please be aware and be clear while initiating this kind of instant payments. And the next point is this ISO 20022 messages are the standard that is provided by the ISO for the communication between the financial systems. So any FI to FI or any user to FI communications will be done using this ISO 20022 messages. So the FedNow is also implemented by using these guidelines and the messages. And another point is that FedNow is a domestic payment system, which means that you cannot use this payment system to transfer funds outside US border. So since it is a domestic payment system, it always use the currency USD. Let us move on to the second topic. Topic is who can participate. So if there is a service, there must be a provider and also a consumer. So the consumers are whoever interacts with the provider either directly or indirectly. So also these consumers are considered as a participant in the FedNow service, because in our case the FedNow is the provider and the following are the consumers because they use this service or they interact with the FedNow service. Let's say the first ones are the financial institutions. The financial institutions can be either uh, banks or credit unions or whoever provides the payment service to the customers. They are considered as a financial institutions. The banking service providers are basically and tech companies because they provide the softwares for the payment initiation. The software could be either payment processing engine or gateway or any other software that helps the banks to facilitate the payment services. And the next is other industry providers. The other industry providers also will be interacting with the banks or tech service providers directly, but not with the FedNow directly. So these other system providers maybe could be like a channel which helps the user to initiate the payment. Even though they help the payment to initiate the payment, but this initiated payments will have to go through the banks, and from banks that they will be sending this for message further into the FedNow service. So these other service providers are indirectly connecting with the FedNow service. And the final one is the end users. So the end users are like you and me. So the customers are consumers of the banks, ultimately who will initiate the funds from one end to another end. It can be you and me, or small banks, or small businesses, anyone who uses the FedNow service as a consumer point of view, or as a end customer point of view. So now let me show you how these four participants are interacting with the FedNow. So let us assume that this is a FedNow service, and we have separate participants. Like here it's a bank, and here let's say it is a tech companies, basically in banking service providers, and we have an end users, and we have a other industry providers. Yeah. So the banks have two options to connect with the FedNow. Either with their own systems, they can connect with the FedNow directly, or the banks can interact with the tech companies and they use their software to connect with the FedNow. So that is one option. Likewise, the tech companies either directly can connect with the FedNow, or they can connect with they can be a they can provide a service to the bank, and like banks can connect with the FedNow. So in these two ways that either banks or tech companies can connect to the FedNow. So this is called direct. The other participants and the end users are like this, even though the other industry providers provide a payment service, but they have to connect with the tech companies, or they will be connecting with the banks. So that is why they cannot directly initiate a payment to the FedNow. So it has to go through either bank or tech companies. Most of the time it will be with the banks. So that is why they are indirect. Likewise, the end users, either they will be having directly initiating the payment from the bank, or they'll use the other industry providers application to initiate the banks. So ultimately, the end users is also not directly connected. So they also an indirect participant to the FedNow. So this is how the participants are being connected to the FedNow. I hope you understand this concept. This brings us to the end of the video. I hope you learned about the FedNow service to good extent. This is not over yet. We will continue to learn about this payment system in upcoming videos. Once again thank you for watching my video, and I wish something good comes to your life today. Bye bye.